Pending before the United States Senate is the nomination of Daryl Papillon. The Eastern District Court judge wishes to be for Louisiana. I want to say a word about this nomination because it indicates a positive development in the Senate Judiciary Committee, which the presiding officer and I share membership in the fact that this is a bipartisan nomination. On May 11th, Daryl Papillon was voted out of the committee by a vote of 15-6. Senators on the Republican side, Graham, Cornyn, Kennedy, and Tillis, joined all committee Democrats in voting for this nominee. He received a unanimous rating of well qualified from the American Bar Association, and he has the obvious support of the two Louisiana senators, Cassidy and Kennedy, both of whom returned positive blue slips, which is a committee process, and both of whom are Republican. Papillon had a BA from Louisiana State University and a JD from LSU's Paul Herbert Law Center before clerking for Associate Justice Catherine Kimball on the Louisiana Supreme Court. He entered private practice in New Orleans, where he specialized in the defense of products liability actions. And since moving to Baton Rouge in 1999, Papillon's main areas of practice have been personal injury and wrongful death litigation. Papillon has tried at least 33 cases to verdict, including more than a dozen jury trials. He's been a special prosecutor for the East Baton Rouge District Attorney's Office and a mediator for mediation cases in South Louisiana. He served as a special master in state court on 3 different occasions. He's deeply involved in the Louisiana legal community, having served as president of both the Louisiana State Bar Association and the Baton Rouge Bar Association. Let me repeat that. President of the Louisiana State Bar Association. The committee received several letters of support from individuals and organizations on his behalf. The former president of the Louisiana State Bar Association, the former president of the New Orleans Bar Association, 6 former opposing counsels, and treasurers of the New Orleans chapter of the Federal Bar Association. The reason I read that in detail is because if I went back home to Illinois, like I did last week, and told people we're considering judges before the Senate Judiciary Committee, which I chair, their first reaction is, can't you find a judge that both Democrats and Republicans agree on? Here's one. He wouldn't be here before us today, but for the fact that 2 Republican senators from Louisiana reached an agreement with the Biden White House for this man to have a lifetime appointment to the federal bench. Now, in case that sounds like front page news, it happens, and it happens more often than not. And the reason I come to the floor at this moment is to make sure it's a matter of record. During the Trump administration, Democrats approved what we call blue slips for 120 nominees for federal court. Some of those were 2 Democratic senators in a state like Illinois, but there was a level of negotiation and cooperation. I had, as senior senator from Illinois, I had to sit down with the legal counsel from President Trump's White House and put nominees on the table saying, here's one that we want and here's one that you want. I think we can agree on those 2. Let's move forward. And we did it. That happened, as I said, over 120 times with Democratic senators working with the Trump White House. We filled all of the vacancies in Illinois, virtually all of them, during the Trump administration with that bipartisan agreement. Today we have another one, 2 Republican senators with a Democratic president. It happens. And for it to happen, you need 2 things. The will for members to move and put nominees on the bench, and secondly, a person so qualified that both sides don't feel they'll be embarrassed by them. They're more judges and attorneys than they are politicians. And in this case, I think we found just that kind of nominee. Now we have a lot more to go. There are roughly 87 pending vacancies in the district courts across the nation. About almost half of them are in states with 2 Democratic senators, and the other half in states with at least 1 Republican, maybe 2 Republican senators. We're trying to reach a point where we have an agreement on this, and I think we can do it. This is an indication, I could list some other senators that I'm working with on the Republican side to fill those vacancies as well. I think that's what the American people are looking for, more evidence that we're trying to find some common ground despite the obvious political differences in this nation. This is an issue that I think is timely, and I wanted to bring the attention of the Senate to it on the floor this afternoon.